The House adjourned Tuesday without electing a new speaker. Republican leader Kevin McCarthy lost 3 rounds of votes. It marks the first time in 100 years. The vote went to multiple ballots, and without a speaker, none of the new members can be sworn in. I want to bring in Leigh Ann Caldwell. She is an anchor for Washington Post Live and co-author of the Early 202 newsletter. Leigh Ann, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So, does there appear to be any kind of strategy here for Republicans to move forward, apart from holding more votes for Speaker?
Hey, Elaine. So the strategy earlier in the day by McCarthy and his team was to wear out the detractors, to continue to vote again and again, hoping that they would get tired and weary and no longer be opposed to him. That didn't seem to work. They got through 3 ballots today. And then on that 3rd ballot, things started to go in the wrong direction for Leader McCarthy. Instead of 19 people who opposed him, that tally rate increased to 20 people. And so after that, it was almost like at some point in a basketball game where the tide starts to turn in the wrong direction, so the team calls a timeout, and that's essentially what happened. There were no plans to adjourn until this 3rd ballot, and they decided, let's take the night, let's adjourn, come back tomorrow at noon. There's lots of negotiations, lots of discussions happening tonight, but there's still no clear path for Leader McCarthy to become Speaker McCarthy.
So earlier, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz spoke in support of Jim Jordan for Speaker, just a few feet away from Kevin McCarthy. Let's watch some of that.
Mr. Jordan says that we cannot accept legislation like the omnibus, and I fully agree. And if Jim Jordan were Speaker of the House, if he were the leader of the Republican team, we wouldn't have that circumstance, choking the economy of our country, increasing inflation.
So how does the Republican Party come out of this and govern with these really apparent internal divisions?
It's a great question, and ultimately that's the underlying question. Of course, the fight happening right now is about the Speaker. Who is the person to lead the party? But once they decide who a Speaker is, these internal battles within the Republican Party are not going to go away, because there are different ideologies and beliefs on how to move forward and how to govern. There's a faction of the Republican Party that is being manifested right now in these 19 and 20 members who are opposing Leader McCarthy, who don't want to govern. They want to cut government funding. They do not believe in passing government funding bills. And there's going to be a big discussion in months ahead about lifting the debt limit. That's America being able to pay off its credit card bills, something that they are adamantly opposed to. Well, if that doesn't happen, the country's going to default. And so while the conversation and the debate and the fight is happening about Kevin McCarthy, it's really this broader discussion about where the Republican Party goes next, how hard they're going to fight against President Biden and the Democrats, and how to move forward. And the party is not united on that.
So meantime, Democrats, of course, are watching all of this closely. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke earlier about the lack of consensus among Republicans. Let's play some of that.
Because the Republican conference has apparently been taken over by extreme MAGA Republicans, and to the extent there are reasonable individuals on the other side of the aisle, they have no way out.
So, Leigh Ann, I think I can guess, but how might Democratic leadership be feeling as they head into this new session of Congress with the majority party in such disarray?
So it was a pretty stark contrast being in the House chamber today. The Republican side of the chamber was tense. You could tell people were frustrated and aggravated. The Democratic side, they were elated. There were multiple standing ovations for Hakeem Jeffries. People were cheering. They were in such good spirits because For the first time in a couple of years, it is Republicans who are not united, Republicans who are in disarray, Republicans who are fighting. Democrats, it's always easier to be united in the minority, and they are definitely that. And I am told by sources that they have no plans on helping Republicans out of this jam. They are going to continue to vote for who they want their speaker to be, Hakeem Jeffries, who of course will not be speaker, but will give no way to help Kevin McCarthy or Republicans find a speaker.
And Leigh Ann, just give us a bit of context here, because speakers from both parties have certainly had their critics through the years, but there has not been a situation like this where you've had multiple ballots taking place here. That situation hasn't happened in 100 years. What is so unique about this particular Congress?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. It's about 100 years to the day, 2023, the first day of the session. Back then, it took 7 ballots. There was other contentious times before as well. One, the record is 133 ballots in a couple months to find a speaker. Kevin McCarthy today said that he is perfectly happy to beat that record, meaning that he is willing to stay and not back down for as long as it takes. The difference of what's happening now, as in the past few decades where this didn't happen, is a couple things. There's a slim majority. There's only a 5-seat margin for Republicans. He can only lose actually 4 members. But also, the Republican Party is at an inflection point right now. You're coming out of this really tumultuous time with President Donald Trump, where some in the party want to continue going down that path. You also have the remnants of the 2010-2012 era of the Tea Party, of the fiscal conservatives that are really starting to rise again, and that's where a lot of these far-right members are. And then you have some of these more moderate, pragmatic members who, while they want to move forward with conservative values, they also believe in the institution and they believe in a functioning government. And that's not where all Republicans are right now. And so this is an internal battle about what the face and what the future of the Republican Party is going to be, Elaine.
Yeah, I imagine some pretty intense discussions taking place overnight. Leigh Ann Caldwell, Leigh Ann, thanks so much for your time and insight. We appreciate it.
Of course.